Wesleyan Christians tend to talk about kinds of grace, and when we do, we talk about three kinds of grace:
Yes.
prevenient, justifying, and sanctifying.
Yes.
We're going to start with prevenient, but we're
Yeah.
going to hit some other things along the way.
Great.
So let's start talking through those.
Yeah.
Number one, prevenient grace. What do we mean when we talk about prevenient grace?
Well, this God that has made us and knows us and watches us take our own personal will and destroy our intimacy with him doesn't stop loving us. He won't force us to love him back. He never forces a relationship. He won't make us love him. So what we call grace, and of course there's lots of discussion about grace, hundreds of thousands of words on this issue, but from my perspective, the best way to approach grace, so prevenient, the grace that comes before my being able to respond to him again. So sin cuts me off. There's a blindness. There's a heart hardness. I cannot work my way back to God on my own. There's no ability in me to recognize him. So prevenient, the grace that comes before that responsiveness that he enables, is his life, his love. And I'll say grace, but I want to make sure it's not some mucilage out of God's heart that pours down on my life. It's the reality of who he is in his nature toward us as sinners. I don't want you to devastate all of your life and your eternity. I'll keep offering myself to you and enabling you then to, out of your darkness, be able by the Spirit to be illuminated to respond to the Word or to respond to theology around you and nature that I'm pointing to myself through, and all those various ways that our loving God comes into my darkness and offers me a glimmer of light, never to overwhelm me, never to make my will come to him, but to say, you have not totally lost your perceptivity of who I am as your creator. I want to be closer than that to you, but I'm going to step by step enable you to move into that. So it becomes a very personal reality. Grace is very personal. It's his life poured toward my hard brokenness, my sinfulness, and then he enables me to perceive in mind and heart there's something out beyond me that really is what I'm made for, and the life that I long to have and I don't have. And that often takes a long time in a person's life to respond to that grace. Yeah.
So when we're talking about grace, and again, we kind of hear this language, kinds of grace. We're saying there aren't really kinds of grace because it's not a thing.
Point. That's a great point.
Grace isn't a thing.
Right.
You can't put it in a bucket, right? You can't carry it around. I need more grace, right?
Yeah.
Grace is, the Greek word means gift, and the New Testament applies that to the way God relates to us. God reveals this because he's giving himself.
Yes.
So I've wondered if we might even say, and again, we're going to get into more detail, but with those three big categories, prevenient.
Right.
And sometimes I invite church folks just say, if you don't like Latin, say preceding.
Yeah, there you go.
Because it's basically the same thing,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
The grace that
That's
comes
good.
first. It
Right.
precedes everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So if grace is just Jesus and his giving of himself to me, like that's what's going on.
That's a pretty
right?
good definition. Yeah,
Grace is Jesus giving of himself.
Exactly. And that's the Holy Spirit's work, too, in our
Yeah.
lives. Yeah, exactly.
So is prevenient or preceding grace his drawing himself to me? Justifying grace, he unites
Wow.
himself to
I
me.
love that distinction. That's beautiful.
And
Yeah.
sanctifying grace, he fills me with himself.
Well, Matt, you've just summarized my entire theology in the three beautiful ways of saying, yeah, that's so beautiful. Yeah, it is his drawing. That's a great word.
To himself.
To himself,
Yeah.
exactly.
He's not passing me something.
That's right.
Right.
That's the point about grace.
Yeah.
Is I think we tend to say it. I need a douse of this, or I've sinned, so just you owe me some forgiving grace, and we distend it from God's own life. And nothing besides His life saves me. It's divine reality that saves me, not something between Him and me. That's what I think grace can sometimes become to people.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a slot machine. I give in a prayer. He owes me some grace. Well, that's ridiculous. That's almost pagan. It's not Christian. It's not Christian. So I don't want to, defend a word as being defining his nature. I'm just saying, if you think about how we're saved, it's only through his life in me.
That's right.
It's not his attitude that saves me. It's his life that saves me.
Yeah.
That's
You may
why.
hear someone say, I need more grace. And what you need is Jesus.
Exactly.
And more of him. And grace is the word for his giving of himself.
Exactly.
Right? Uniting us. So
Great.
he draws us to himself. He unites us with himself. He fills us with himself.
Great.
So prevenient grace happens.
Yeah.
And and the gospel is preached. Jesus is the light that illumines everyone. He's come into the world.
Yes.
So there's this very broad thing, like effect of the incarnation. Jesus showed up, and he illumines people.
Yes.
What happens then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One other aspect of Prevenient, I think I didn't mention is it's your word, wooing. He's wooing us to himself. So there's a redemptive emphasis in this life. It's not just, and other people talk about common grace, and I understand their point. You know, we're so sinful that actually we could just destroy each other in our sin, and that we wouldn't think about it. There wouldn't be no conscience, no guilt, no shame. But he enables us enough by his grace to sense those things. We know there's something wrong, even in between murderers or between gang members. They know that if you lie, that's wrong. Well, if you think about it, if we're in sin only, how would you know anything is wrong? So his grace is working at every level of our sinfulness to indicate to us something's out of kilter. It's not right. It's not peaceful. It's not fulfilling. And that's his grace working in all of us. And as
let's distinguish one thing.
Yeah,
so you mentioned
please.
common grace, which is a term that shows up frequently in evangelicalism and really in the Reformed tradition.
Right.
It stems from kind of John Calvin. But and sometimes people confuse common grace. Well, isn't that just our version of prevenient grace?
Yeah.
But it's not.
I don't think so. And again, I don't want to debate in traditions here. From my understanding of common grace, it's not the same as the trajectory of prevenient. It's not the Lord wooing us to him. Right. Common grace is more keeping us from slaughtering each other.
Right. It's not salvific.
Exactly.
And prevenient grace is aimed at...
There you go.
That's prevenient grace is aimed at saving people.
That's right.
Common grace is aimed at preserving creation, maybe.
Yes.
Something like
Good.
that. Or society, perhaps.
That's incredibly clear.
But it's not.
Yeah.
It's not aimed at salvation.
Right.
I think.
Right.
So, and again, that's not just to clarify.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's helpful to understand that. Let's not get this confused.
Yeah. And I think the distinction there, and all the way through for us, is everything that God is and offers is always personal. So whatever grace he's offering is not just a dab on culture to keep us from destroying ourselves. He's personally offering himself, and we're enabled even by his grace to reject him, which is an astounding thing all the way through, that a creature could reject the Creator. That's an astounding definition of grace and goodness. But even ongoingly. So he offers himself continually, but a person can look at prevenient grace and say, no, I don't want anything to do with you. So all the way he's illuminating with this amazing, can I say humility? Self-deference, not self-deference, but his self-giving is so rich and so deep and so dynamic that he enables even rebels to keep playing around with his grace. And I say that from my own testimony. I mean, I rejected him in the middle of a Christian home and dynamic parents of spiritual life. Just no, Jesus, no. So I know it's possible to be flooded with prevenient grace over all of your life in all kinds of ways and say, no, I have no time for that.
That's helpful, though, because
yeah.
people might be thinking, okay, prevenient grace, Jesus is wooing me, but how? Right? So you're saying, through my parents who read the scriptures to me and prayed with me and for me. And
oh, my word. Every
made
day
sure
of my
that I
life.
knew the gospel.
Every day of my life.
Yeah.
My
Sunday
dad was
school
a preacher.
teachers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All these ways.
Yeah. So all of those are ways that Jesus is at work to say, come, come.